Hi folks, today's video is going to be those stretches I promised you yesterday. So we may have the help of a small furry cat who's decided this is the best room in the house to be in right now. She's not often allowed in here. But the stretches we're going to do, I am going to have the help of my long-suffering glamorous assistant, my husband, who's going to come in and help us. He's been manning the camera. So this is Dan, who's going to help me with a demonstration. So these are the exercises for those of you who are sitting at your desks a lot, and these are going to become even more important now that you're sitting at unfamiliar desks which may not be set up exactly the way they should be, as hopefully your desks will be at work. So we're going to start by stretching the hamstrings, which are the bits at your back of your leg, and we do that by standing with our feet hip distance apart, letting our knees go soft, so not bending as much as unlocking, hands on thighs, stick your bum out ever so slightly, keep your neck in line with your spine and go down very slowly, just as low as you can. Stop when you feel the tension in your hamstrings and hold this for 10 to 15 seconds. We're not going to hold it for the full amount of time here because that would make for an awfully long and boring video. But come slowly up out of it. Shake out your legs, and then if you're doing this you would actually do it again for another 15 seconds. So it's unlock the knees, stick the bum out slightly, and hands on thighs, keeping the neck in line with the rest of the spine, roll down. The second exercise we're going to do is for the hip flexor. Now, unless you've got a really soft floor, and we haven't here, this is my study cum gym and I have a solid floor, you're going to need to put a cushion under your knee, and you're going to take a big step forward, grounding one knee onto the cushion. And Dan's a bit sore because he went running for the first time in ages yesterday, so he's struggling to get down here. So what he's doing here is he's kneeling heroically, I call this. It's always heroic if you're kneeling in the position that looks like you're about to propose, and the only thing we're going to propose is having a stiff drink, I think. So what Dan's going to do is he's going to push this part of his hip forward to open up that hip, to stretch that hip, and I think the little cat may be coming in and joining in on the video. Kat says you've also got to have a good clean, so she's gonna lick herself savagely for about 2 lots of happy birthday, I think. Now this stretch you need to hold a bit longer. This stretch really needs to be developed. So this one will be held for 20 to 30 seconds before coming up out of that position, changing onto the other side, because obviously you've got 2 legs and this is each side, pushing that hip open again, and then going back to the first leg and then back to the second leg, around about 20 to 30 seconds each. Kat doesn't like this. Kat's decided that Dan's in pain and she's having a bit of a shout. So the third one we're going to do is we're going to do a glute stretch. So Dan gets to sit down on the floor. Yeah, that's good news. And he's going to stretch, if you stretch one leg out through the gap and you put the other leg over the top and hug that leg into your body and across your body. So we're stretching in here, we're stretching piriformis, glute area, and that gets tired and gets lazy if you sit down all the time. About 15 seconds on this side, then change sides. If we can change sides, because they're going to kick the cat. And you're just doing this for comic effect, aren't you? And then 15 seconds on the other side. She's now decided to attack the tripod. This whole thing could come tumbling down any minute now. So we've stretched the hamstrings, we've opened up the hips, and we've stretched the glutes. The last stretch we're going to do is actually for the upper back. So Dan's going to lie down on the floor, he's going to shuffle forward a little bit. This could be interesting. He might not actually have quite enough room here. So I'll just move this out of the way. Dan's going to put his arms up as if he's going to imagine that he's up against the wall and somebody's holding a gun to his head. So he's, in that position. Now, he's going to bend his knees to put his feet flat on the floor, and that gets your lower back in touch with the floor. And your lower back, this curve here, has got to stay flat against the floor at all times. It doesn't matter what your arms are doing, that's going to stay there. Ideally, you should be able to, and Dan's going to try this, push your arms above your head whilst keeping your elbows and palms flat against the floor and keeping your lower back locked in. And down slowly. You would do about 15 of these nice and slowly. Now, all the time you've got to keep that lower back locked tight into the floor. If you have to bring your elbows off the floor, your hands off the floor to do this, then do so. But if you're bringing your elbows off the floor, that's telling you that your upper back's tight and you need to do a bit more to stretch it. Another simple upper back stretch you could do, you can stop now, love. Another simple upper back stretch you can do while sitting at your desk is to round out your back, pull your hands together and try to imagine that you're pulling your shoulder blades apart. That will stretch your upper back. A lot of people who get back pain, you see them do this and they think they're stretching their back. You're actually stretching the front part here. If you want to stretch that back, you're going to have to lean the other way. So a couple of stretches for the desk bound, a little bit of interference from the small moggy. Hopefully that is of use to you, and tomorrow we'll show you how you can use a tiny space like this with the sofa and not much else to do the workout. See you tomorrow, folks.